Picture this. Your favorite national team has an incredibly rocky start. They don't even finish in the top two of their group, and yet, somehow, they still make it to the knockout stage. Sounds completely backward, right? Well, buckle up because the FIFA World Cup is completely throwing out its old playbook. I'm absolutely pumped to guide you through this explainer today because the 2026 World Cup is officially ditching the traditional format to become the biggest, messiest, and most dramatic tournament in the history of the beautiful game.
To help make sense of all this impending chaos, here's our quick roadmap for today. We're going to cover the biggest World Cup ever, navigating the wild new group stage, the expanded knockout bracket, some game-changing new rules on the pitch, and finally, the prizes, mascots, and glory waiting at the finish line. Let's get right into it.
Starting with Part 1, the biggest World Cup ever. We are looking at a truly unprecedented scale for this tournament, which actually kicks off at the historic Estadio Azteca in Mexico City.
We're talking about a jaw-dropping expansion here. Look, from 1998 all the way up to 2022, we were totally used to a 32-team format. Well, not anymore. For the first time, literally ever, FIFA has expanded the field to a staggering 48 nations. That means more qualifying spots for every single continent, way more underdogs, and honestly, just more chances for absolute magic on the pitch.
And hey, it's not just the number of teams that's growing, it's the sheer real estate. For the first time in the 23-edition history of this tournament, 3 nations are sharing the hosting duties: the United States, Mexico, and Canada. This massive pan-continental setup brings some completely new logistical challenges. Teams are going to be facing wildly diverse climates, changing altitudes, and some pretty brutal travel schedules. To actually accommodate all this football, the tournament is going to be spread across 16 distinct host cities. We are talking about matches spanning everywhere from the northern coolness of Vancouver and Toronto, down through 11 major U.S. cities like Miami and LA, all the way to the intense heat of Monterrey, Guadalajara, and Mexico City. So what does this massive expansion actually mean for the schedule? Well, we're jumping from the traditional 64 matches up to a record-breaking 104 matches. 104! That is 39 continuous days of nonstop, high-stakes football. It's basically a massive marathon that is absolutely going to test the physical and mental endurance of every single squad involved.
Moving on to Section 2, navigating the group stage. Let's break down the brand new mathematics of how this all works.
Okay, so in the old 32-team era, we had 8 groups, and it was super simple, right? The top 2 advanced, boom, done. But in the 2026 era, our 48 teams are sorted into 12 groups of 4 teams each, ranging from Group A all the way down to Group L. Now, every single nation is still guaranteed to play 3 group stage matches no matter what happens. But the qualification math, yeah, that is where the chaos truly begins.
The basic point system does remain our anchor here. Just like always, if you win a match, your team earns 3 points. A draw gets you 1 point, and a loss leaves you with 0. You play your 3 group stage games, and then we tally up the points. Naturally, the top 2 teams from each of those 12 groups, so 24 teams, will automatically advance. But you might be wondering, what about the ties?
Right, so if teams finish with the exact same number of points, FIFA brings in the tiebreakers. The first, and absolutely most critical one, is overall goal differential. That's simply your goals scored minus your goals conceded. If they're somehow still tied after that, we look at total goals scored. And guys, this is exactly why every single goal matters now. Even a late consolation goal in a, say, 4-0 blowout could literally be the mathematical difference between staying in the tournament and packing your bags. All right, on to Section 3, the expanded knockout bracket. Let's talk about surviving the chaos. Now, here is the massive new lifeline of this whole tournament. Remember those 12 groups we just talked about? Well, if you finish third, your tournament isn't necessarily over. Nope, FIFA is going to take all the third-place teams, put them in a totally separate table, and the 8 best third-place finishers will actually advance. That means a team could stumble, have a terrible first 2 games, win their final match, sneak through in third place, and just completely disrupt the entire tournament. So those 24 top 2 finishers plus the 8 lucky third-place finishers give us a perfectly balanced 32 teams for the knockout stage. But it also means the knockout gauntlet is longer than ever. Teams now have to survive a brutal 5-round single elimination bracket. We've got the brand new round of 32, then the round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, and finally, the final in New Jersey. Meaning to lift the trophy, a team now has to play 8 total matches instead of 7. It's a grind.
Which brings us to Section 4, game-changing new rules. Let's shift our focus down onto the pitch to see how they're speeding up the game.
Okay, we have all seen this happen. A team is winning 1-0, there are like 10 minutes left on the clock, and suddenly their players start dropping to the grass with these mysterious tactical cramps just to waste time and break the opponent's momentum. Well, that stops now. Under the new rules, if a player goes down and requires medical assistance to stop the game, they are forced to wait on the sideline for 1 full minute after play restarts. Faking an injury now means your team has to defend with 10 men for 60 critical seconds. Huge game changer.
Because FIFA is seriously obsessed with speed this time around. Say goodbye to players taking a slow, dramatic, incredibly annoying walk off the pitch during a substitution. They now have exactly 10 seconds to exit, or the sub gets delayed. Throw-ins? Referees are actually going to use a visible 5-second countdown. Take too long, the ball goes right to the other team. And goalkeepers. They can only hold the ball for 8 seconds. If they delay, the opposing team gets a dangerous corner kick. Fast, fast, fast.
Technology is getting a major upgrade too. The powers of VAR, the video assistant referee, are being heavily expanded. Look, in the past, fans would literally scream at their TVs when a clear, obvious mistake was made on a corner kick or a disastrous second yellow card. But VAR wasn't allowed to intervene. Well, in 2026, VAR officially has the green light to step in and correct these match-altering blunders.
And check out this other major behavioral change, the captain's only rule. We are so used to seeing 5 or 6 furious players completely swarm the referee after a controversial whistle. No more. In 2026, only the designated team captain is allowed to approach and speak with the referee. If literally any other player runs up to argue, they risk an immediate yellow card. It's all about mutual respect and, again, keeping that game moving.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, prizes, mascots, and glory. Let's look at the ultimate reward waiting at the end. First off, touching on the cultural side of things. To represent the distinct heritage and wildlife of our 3 host nations, we have a really fun trio of official mascots. We've got Maple the Moose, proudly representing Canada, Zayu the Jaguar representing the vibrant spirit of Mexico, and Clutch the Bald Eagle taking flight for the United States. They're basically going to be the friendly, welcoming faces of this intense competition.
But make absolutely no mistake. This is fierce competition, and it's backed by a massive $871 million budget from FIFA. The payout at the end of this bracket is just staggering. The nation that manages to survive this 104-match gauntlet and take first place, they will walk away with a whopping $50 million in prize money. Second place takes $33 million, and even just winning that third-place playoff nets you $29 million. Every single win in the knockout stage is literally worth millions.
Which brings us to the ultimate question for this explainer. The format is longer, the rules are faster, the travel is way tougher, and with 48 teams, the margin for error is razor thin. We've got the reigning champs Argentina, heavyweights like France and Brazil, and incredible dark horses from all over the globe gearing up for battle. So, with more chaos on the horizon than ever before, who do you think has what it takes to conquer the 2026 World Cup and lift that iconic 18-karat gold trophy? Think about it. Thanks for joining me to figure all this out, and I'll catch you next time.